everybody. I'm Pat Patterson. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's been a full day of racing all across the country, so let's get started with the Winston Cup Series. They had a heck of a time getting a dry racetrack for the Bud at the Glen, but the perseverance paid off.
It was the Kings' last day at the Glen, and not a good one thanks to the weather. Rain kept everyone at parade rest for nearly 3 hours, but when the field finally did get underway, it was Dale Earnhardt at the head of the pack for the first time ever on a road course. Davey Allison did start, but quickly tapped Dorsey Schrader in relief. Earnhardt's stay up front was brief as Ernie Irvan took command, as he has in recent road races, looking for win number 3 in a row on winding layouts like the Glen. Not everyone did like the Glen, as Rick Maz came off the last turn and made a rather embarrassing entrance to the pits, which wasn't exactly planned. The story was the oncoming rain and how Kyle Petty made quick pit work pay off as he was in front when the heavens opened up 5 laps past halfway. NASCAR said enough, and Petty had his first road course win.
We were in the right place at the right time. Ernie's car was really, really quick on new tires, and he could outrun us all. He come up through the pack 2 or 3 times. You know, he did a tremendous job, but we were just fortunate to be able to come back on him a little bit when the tires got old, and that got us up close enough to him during pit stops that we could get him behind us a little bit.
Morgan Shepherd tied his season best with the second, third went to Irvan, fourth to Mark Martin, and fifth to Wally Dallenbach. This is Mark Allen reporting for Race Day.
And let's look at the points. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville has got himself on top of the standings after the Bud at the Glen. Davey Allison slips back to second. KULWICKI is third. Harry Gant is fourth. And Mark Martin rounds out the top 5. All right, there was more racing action today where water was not only welcome but essential. Of course, we're talking about the International Outboard Grand Prix Series. The competitors were in Pittsburgh for their 6th race of the year, and until this afternoon, only 3 drivers had visited Victory Lane this season. Neil Kasselbaum has a story.
From the green, pole sitter Mike Seabold jumped out to the early lead in the 50-lap Three Rivers Regatta in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. With less than 3 laps complete, Bobby Humphrey in the Hooters number 3 took a nosedive. The Bay City, Michigan driver was shaken, but okay. While the race was stopped, Scott Gilman, with 2 wins already to his credit this year, developed a problem and retired for the day. On the restart, Greg Quirk, who rolled his boat in yesterday's qualifying event, also had problems today, but again escaped injury. With the race resumed, number 94, Steve D'Souza, charged out front when number 53, Greg Foster, challenged Seabold for the lead. Then another red flag flew when Jay Price dipped his Stiletto Racing entry under the water on lap 11. Another wet but uninjured driver was out. When the field resumed racing, it was D'Souza back in the lead, but early leader Seabold dove under him and retook the top spot. The Fenton, Missouri resident held off a charging D'Souza for the final 20 laps to take his first win of the year.
I had a problem with Steve because Steve was, he had a little speed on me, but I could get him when we got into some rough and got into some traffic. I knew I could catch him at that time. And when you get the yellows come out, you know, everybody falls back in line. It takes a while before you hit the back markers where I could maybe get some rough water where I could get around him.
The third spot went to Foster, with Ben Robertson fourth and Felix Cervantes fifth. I'm Neil Kasselbaum, reporting for Race Day.
Thank you, Neil. Now back on solid land. The only flying done around the Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland this afternoon was done by the IndyCars as they took over the facility for their latest event, and the flying is just a way to describe what happened today, as an all-time road race record for the series was set thanks to a single lap of caution. Emerson Fittipaldi winged his way to victory at an average speed of over 133 miles per hour. The Brazilian led 67 of 85 laps for his 2nd win of the season. Michael Andretti was second, Al Unser Jr. was third, and Bobby Rahal was next, followed by Mario Andretti in his record 370th IndyCar race. So in the championship standings, Unser chips away ever so slightly into Rahal's lead, although the margin is still 31 points. Andretti's right behind in third, then it's Fittipaldi and Scott Goodyear. All right, stay with us for highlights from the world of outlaws and a special event to benefit one of sprint car racing's biggest stars. All that yet to come on Race Day.
Dale Earnhardt moves to the inside. Now he's diving into the pit. Let's go down to Bob.
Earnhardt's pulling in the pit. I'm going to try to get a word with him. Dale, why are you stopping at the GM dealership?
The fast or free guarantee.
Fast or free?
Yep, my GM dealer does a complete GM oil change and lube in 29 minutes or less, or the next one's free. Whoop, gotta go.
And Earnhardt's back in record time.
Your GM dealer's serious about putting service back in the service department. So come in for a Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus oil change.
For
For nearly 50 years, car owners have used GUMOUT fuel system cleaners to help eliminate hard starts, hesitations, and stalls. And there's PENNZOIL quality in every product, which is why so many people know they can trust GUMOUT to improve engine performance, help eliminate hard starts, hesitations, and stalls. GUMOUT, solutions to engine problems, from the people at PENNZOIL.
Freedom. It's the spirit which moves the Cutlass Supreme, a car intelligently engineered for your eyes, your hands, your senses. Introducing the new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. The look may change, but the spirit remains the same. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor-All Protection.
Samson, darling, that old loincloth does nothing for you.
It's comfortable, Delilah. What should I wear? Ribbed whites?
From Fruit of the Loom.
They feel great!
For extra comfort and style, pick Fruit of the Loom Ribbed Whites.
Race Day is brought to you by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota car and truck you buy.
Welcome back, everybody. The Camel GT Championship battle may have ended this afternoon at Road America's Circuit in Wisconsin. Now, let's take a look at our Toyota IMSA report. A pair of Toyota Eagles were again on the front row, and teammates Juan Fangio II and P.J. Jones swapped the lead a couple of times before Fangio took the final lead and his 6th victory of the season. Behind the Toyotas were Jeff Brabham in 3rd with the Mazda teammates of Price Cobb and Pete Halsmer 4th and 5th. Davy Jones, 2nd in the driver's points, did not start today's event after he crashed his Jaguar in practice this morning. Now, yesterday, the Dodge Shelby Pro Series ventured out onto the Road America Circuit for its 3rd event of the year, and it turned out to be a duel between two Windy City residents. Mark Allen reports.
It was an all-Chicago front row with David Tenney out-dragging Scott Harrington to the first turn from his pole position. The 13-lap duel over the 4-mile Road America course was between the Illinois pair, as Harrington worked his way to the front before the end of the first lap and then tried to keep his nose clean. That's more than David Jones could do, though he did continue. Once Harrington was in front, he stayed there and claimed the narrow victory.
People really started reeling me in. I could see he was starting to use the normal line and get back in the oil, and I guess the oil had been worn down enough to start to get a little traction back in the oil spots. So I just started taking the normal line and got off a couple of times and drove as hard as I could, and fortunately we were able to hang on until the finish.
Second went to Tenney with Chris Winkler 3rd, Augie Pabst was 4th, and Bonnet Torrance was 5th. Harrington tasted the points lead with the victory.
Well, a better day greeted the SCCA Trans Am Division Saturday at Watkins Glen as they got all of their 42 laps in without delays, and the Chevrolets appear to be back to their winning ways.
When teammates Scott Sharp and Jack Baldwin lined up on the front row, it gave the rest of the 24 starters fair notice that they were the ones to beat. From the green, it was the number 33 of Sharp that led the field, with Baldwin's number 25 in 2nd. Greg Pickett started 7th and made it into the top 5 by the end. And number 65, Jim Stevens in his Mustang, came from 8th but couldn't overhaul the twin Camaros. For 41 laps, it was Sharp in the lead, but when he got caught up in traffic, Baldwin took advantage of his teammate, and when the checkers came out on lap 42, it was a surprise Baldwin across the line first.
It's a tough break for Scott, but that's what teammates are for. If one falls down, the other one hopefully will come along and pick up the victory. So for the whole team, there's a victory here for us.
So behind Baldwin and Sharp was Jim Stevens in 3rd, Greg Pickett in 4th, and Randy Ruhlman in 5th.
Yeah, it's good to see Jack back in victory lane. Well, so far it's been road courses and rivers that have played host to all the racing action. So let's go to a couple of short tracks in the World of Outlaws action and a special program at Knoxville, Iowa to benefit Outlaw star Doug Wolfgang.
The familiar names of Allen and Swindell were on the front row, but it was Joey Allen, brother of Bobby, and Jeff Swindell, brother of Sammy, who led the field to the green flag. The number 2 of Andy Hillenberg added to the competition as he and Allen waltzed around each other in the opening laps and swapped the 2nd position a number of times. Sammy Swindell sat out this event, and Steve Kinzer thinks that he should have too, because he exploded another engine on his number 11 and took home only $360 for the night and a 23rd place finish. On the restart, Swindell and Allen held their 1-2 slots, while number 7 Kenny Jacobs and number 8 Craig Keel battled for 3rd. As the laps wound down, Swindell's lead began to vanish as Allen closed in on the leaders, and Jacobs found a good line around the third-mile clay track and started to head for the leaders. With less than 5 circuits to go, Allen caught Swindell, and when a lapped car took away the preferred groove, Allen went high and around Swindell, who had 26 lead laps to his credit. The final 3 laps belonged to Allen, who went on to claim what he considered his biggest win to date. Jeff Swindell had to settle for second in his first time out, driving the number 22. Kenny Jacobs maintained third, with Andy Hillenberg and Frankie Kerr fourth and fifth. And then yesterday, sprint car fans from all over the country gathered at the Knoxville Speedway for an auction and race to benefit sprint car star Doug Wolfgang, who was severely injured this past April. Friends of Doug's donated Prince racing memorabilia and one of his driving uniforms to be auctioned off before the regular Saturday night's race, named in his honor. When the main event got underway, it was number 3 local favorite Jerry Richard Jr. who had the right setup. But the race was stopped when Brent Anthill was collected by the catch fence when he got too high out of turn 2. He was taken to a local hospital where he is in stable condition with undetermined injuries. And another incident on the restart sent Randy Smith on a topsy-turvy ride that ended his night. He was okay. When the track went green, Richard went on to lead every lap of the race on this special night.
It's a special night to win. Of course, any night's nice, but this makes it more special. I understand they had a good turnout today at the benefit for him, and I wish him real well.
Danny Smith and Bob White were second and third, with Australians Max Dumsney and Gary Brasher fourth and fifth.
And once again, you can see that the racing community really pulls together in a time of need. And now here's some more good news about another member of the racing family. A couple of weeks ago, we reported that the infant son of off-road racer Rod Millen was in need of a heart transplant. Well, we're very pleased to report that young Connor Millen received a new heart on July 31st in a 7-hour operation at Loma Linda University Medical Center. All indications are that the heart was a perfect match and that Connor is doing better than expected. Our prayers for Connor's complete recovery go out to the Millen family. Now, stay with us, because we've got the ARCA Supercars, and the old saying, "It ain't over till it's over," describes yesterday's race.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
So, how do you spend your weekend? Mowing the grass? Watching the games on TV? Or maybe something a little less ambitious? We spend hours at the racetrack testing new innovations, developing new technology to make the Toyota you buy perform as well as it possibly can. After all, we wouldn't want you to lose any sleep over it.
Samson, darling, that old loincloth does nothing for you.
It's comfortable, Delilah. What should I wear? Ribbed whites?
From Fruit of the Loom.
They feel great!
For extra comfort and style, pick Fruit of the Loom ribbed whites.
Jim Wars found a fountain of youth, and he keeps it in his garage. It's Armor-All Protectant. It prevents his tires from fading and aging. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor-All.
Whether trolling the backwater or casting in peaceful still waters, when Bill's in search of big fish, he knows how to hook prize keepers. Follow Bill Dance to the best fishing holes in the South on his quest for the ones that won't get away. Brought to you in part by Zebco Motor Guide. Bill Dance Outdoors, 12:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Eastern on TNN Sports Sunday. Monday night, Marty Stewart hosts a Hillbilly Rockin' Nashville Now.
There's a girl trying to steal my heart, and I'm tempted.
His partner in crime, the killer Jerry Lee Lewis. That's Monday night on Nashville Now.
All day, all night, all music. CMT, Country Music Television, all right.
Race Day is brought to you by PENNZOIL, America's #1 selling motor oil for performance, protection, and quality.
And welcome back, everybody. The final event of the National Hot Rod Association's West Coast Swing is just wrapping up in Seattle International Raceway, and here's who has made it to the final round. In Top Fuel, it'll be Eddie Hill, who was not even planning on running this event, against Michael Brotherton, who crashed his car yesterday in qualifying. The Funny Car Final will pit two-time winner Al Hoffman against Paul Smith, who is still winless in 1992. And in Pro Stock, it'll be top qualifier Scott Jeffrey on, who will try for his first win of the year when he faces Mark Powick. Now, the NASCAR Regional Tours were in full swing yesterday, and here's an update on the latest action from the Busch Grand National North Series and Southwest Tours.
Bobby Gatta drew the #1 pill to start from the pole for 150 laps at the Star Speedway. Although everyone was leery of fourth-place starter Robbie Crouch, no one figured he'd be the man to beat in his first start this season. But by lap 17, the five-time ACT champion had his new mount nipping at Gatta's heels and was quickly in front. There were a few incidents around the tight layout which worked just fine for Crouch. But in the closing laps, number 47 Kelly Moore caught Crouch and kept him occupied for a number of laps. This spin took care of the only serious threat the ACT regular faced, although he did have a good race in the latter stages with Jamie Obey, who was trying to unlap himself. Crouch set it on cruise control and took the checkers. Mike McLaughlin took runner-up honors with Dave Dion third, fourth went to Tony Hirschman, and fifth to Stub Fadden. Across the continent, the Southwest Tour Championship battle continues to be a real dogfight. Stockton 99 Speedway hosted the Tour Saturday night with Kim Boyd in number 26 controlling the action the entire first half of the race. It was a long night for number 14 Steve Portengay when he triggered a lap 21 caution. 30 laps later, he was definitely in the wrong place, and in spite of the red flag, his crew thought they could get him back in action. Wrong. The strong move in the second half came from number 97 Ron Hornaday Jr., who had set fast time but started fourth. The Californian went door-to-door with Boyd for a while before finally gaining the advantage on lap 78. From there, the series points leader tried to pull off but faced a strong final challenge from Rick Corelli. The race ended before the Chevy driver could take a shot at the point, and Hornaday had the win. Dale Williams was third, David Philpott fourth, and Ron Sermiska fifth.
And now, after experiencing the challenges of road course racing last weekend, the ARCA Supercar Series returned to the more familiar confines of the Flat Rock, Michigan Oval, and there were probably some hurt feelings when this one was over.
The 150-lap event was but a lap old when sixth-running Jerry Churchill spun in front of the pack, but there was no harm done. A spinner in turn 4, and Churchill again was headed the other way, but he again returned to the race. When things finally settled down, number 29 ARCA points leader and pole sitter Bob Keselowski continued to lead the race, even when he came upon lap traffic. By the midpoint, number 06 Dave Weltmeyer and number 25 defending champ Bill Venturini also joined Keselowski as the top three raced around lap traffic. Rookie contender number 16 Roy Payne, though, fell out on lap 81 with mechanical problems and finished 23rd. Then, when Keselowski passed the lap car of Churchill, remember him? The complexion of the race changed. The number 29 caught the pack and remained on the lead lap, pitted for fresh tires, and rejoined the race in sixth. With only 30 laps remaining, Keselowski plowed his way through the field in his little Chrysler that could, and made his way into second with 8 laps to go. But a lapped car helped Weltmeyer keep a car length's lead over the charging challenger and claim the victory using knowledge gained by his win here in May.
In May, the car was a little bit tight, so I went over to the book and I loosened the car up a little bit. Joe Ryan built me a real good motor. The motor had enough power to get the car around, and we did a real good job. The car worked out good.
Venturini held on for third, with Bob Strait fourth and Larry Moore fifth.
Just good old Saturday night racing. Now stay with us for open wheel racing from around the country. That's all next on Race Day.
Some people say it's impossible to tell where the flesh and blood stops and the machine begins. But it really doesn't matter. Because whenever you put Ivan Ironman Stewart together with a Toyota truck, you know where they're gonna finish.
it comes to making great wheels look their best, Eagle One doesn't miss a beat.
Eagle One Wheel Care products are exclusively recommended by the world's leading wheel manufacturers.
Samson, darling, that old loincloth does nothing for you.
It's comfortable, Delilah. What should I wear? Ribbed whites?
From Fruit of the Loom.
They feel great!
For extra comfort and style, pick Fruit of the Loom ribbed whites.
It's summertime, and we've got a pretty good week ahead here on Miller & Company. This week, we'll meet Johnny Paycheck, Molly of the Haymakers, singer-songwriter Michael White, and our old pal, Porter Wagner.
Miller & Company, weekdays 1 Eastern on TNN.
Some people think I'm disabled, but I'm not. I'm dying of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. My MDA clinic provides the health services and assistive devices I need to stay as healthy and independent as possible. The Muscular Dystrophy Association research gives me the hope to keep fighting. If MDA finds a cure, I may be disabled, but at least I'll be alive.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we have followed the California's Golden State Challenge all season long, and last night the championship battle came down to the last event with only 8 points separating Tim Green and Steve Kent. Let's see who won the championship.
Steve Kent had to overcome an 8-point lead by Tim Green if he wanted to win the season-long championship. But it was a long evening for him, first by making a gear change, then by having to make a motor change when it seized up while hot lapping. The engine switch done, Kent went out and set fast time worth 10 points. Green was 6th best, so the margin was down to 1 point for the feature. The fill draw for starting positions went Kent's way, and he got 3rd with Green 5th. Number 88, Greg DeCaris, held the lead while all eyes focused on the Green-Kent battle. In the closing laps, Green was in 2nd, Kent in 3rd. Whoever finished ahead of the other would win the King of California title. It was ever so close, but Green got it, and the $7,000 champion's bonus. DeCaris got the win, with Green a thrilled 2nd, Kent a crestfallen 3rd, followed by Dwayne Scott and Kevin Pilot.
Another major open-wheel competition was the annual Belleville Midget Nationals. The 3-day event was marred by an accident that took the life of Phoenix, Arizona's Bob Shoup during Thursday's A main, so it was a very subdued crowd that gathered for last night's final event.
It was a couple of CRA regulars in Leland McSpadden and Richard Griffin at the front of the 26-car field. One of the more hair-raising moments came at the start as the drivers managed to sort things out without incident. McSpadden, the Tempe Tornado, jumped out to a sizable cushion, and his only early peril came when he was in the middle of lapped traffic. A stalled car 15 laps in closed up the field briefly, but McSpadden was back out to a comfortable lead back under Green. Two-car trouble in the final 10 laps almost posed some problems for the leader, but cooler heads prevailed for the second caution. On the restart, Eric Wilkins went a little too high and had the crowd gasping after what had happened Thursday. Thankfully, he was all right. The final dash was all McSpadden as he copped $10,000, leading all 40 laps.
It's the first time I've been here, and I've heard about the tradition and all the things here, you know. And you come in here, it's a high-speed racetrack, which is the type of racetracks that I like. And we were real fortunate that everything went real good. We took the car off the trailer. We hit it pretty close right off the get-go. And we just went out and did what we knew best.
Griffin was 2nd with Tommy Estes next. 4th went to Stan Fox, and 5th was Robbie Flock.
All right, now we're going to deviate from our usual format and show you highlights from our race that took place last Sunday afternoon, because history was made at the Oswego Speedway when the Supermods took to the track. And we'll also wrap up last week's dirt modified action as well.
Sunday, August 2nd at the Oswego Speedway in Oswego, New York, the Super Modifieds ran with wings for the first time in the track's history. The 50-lap event was sanctioned by the International Super Modified Association. This division is a stepping stone to the Brickyard at Indianapolis, featuring a number of top competitors, and Steve Gioia in the Baby Ruth Car 9 was the early leader. But coming up quickly through the field was the 26 of Randy Riskus. He passed the 05 of Pat Abelt and the 9 of Gioia in the same corner to take the lead on lap number 12. He was driving the car that is the backup to a former Rookie of the Year at Indianapolis, Bentley Warren. Bentley drives the number 29 automobile. And in the final 20 laps of this contest, the two were engaged in a fierce battle. But Warren, not wishing to potentially ruin a 1-2 team finish, eased up, and Riskus went on to claim his second career victory and easily the biggest win of his lengthy career. Warren was second, followed by Joe Gosick, Pat Abald, and Mike Ordway. The Dirt Modifieds were also on the card at Oswego on the same day in a 92-lap contest that saw Jimmy Horton dominate. Horton started on the front row and led every lap of this 92-lap contest. Meanwhile, second place was hotly contested between point leader Kevin Collins and Bob McCready.
You know, I thought they were going to drive off and leave me. And then after that green came out, we just started hustling a little more, and the car come around better and better, and just run off.
Collins took the runner-up spot, followed by McCready, defending Winston Modified Tour champion Mike Stefanik, and Lenny Boyd. Over $18,000 was the winner's share at the Lebanon Valley Speedway's Mr. Dirt Track USA event in Albany, New York. And Jimmy Horton was in contention for the victory until he was involved in this three-car tangle in Turn 2. Track regular Mark Fleury led the remainder of the distance to claim the big payday. He was followed across the line by Matt Quinn, Eddie Marshall, Mark Quinn, and Kenny Tremont.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, but join us again next Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern for the latest news as the Winston Cup drivers prepare for their final visit to the Michigan Speedway. Trans Am Tour gets ready for another round of competition, this time in Quebec, Canada. So plan to join us next Sunday morning right here on TNN. I'm Pat Patterson. Have a great week, everybody.
Guests of Race Day stay at the luxurious Hyatt Charlotte at South Park, conveniently located in Charlotte's exclusive South Park district. Feel the Hyatt touch by calling 1-800-233-1234. Communications provided by Racing Radios, the official communications of NASCAR, CART, IMSA, NHRA, IHRA, and ARCA. And Corporate Image, the official supplier of sportswear for Race Day, and the exclusive merchandiser of Richard Petty's 1992 Fan Appreciation Tour. For a catalog or to order by phone, call 1-800-467-RACE.
The exciting world of speed and beauty, next on TNN.